What is up, everybody, and welcome back yet again to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash, and I hope you're having an amazing weekend. Currently, it is Sunday, and let's get right to the charts. As you can see, Bitcoin is trading at almost $112,000, while the altcoins have taken a very massive hit. But as of right now, they are also recovering. For example, Ethereum is still actually looking pretty good. As you can see, we have not lost the moving averages as support. You can see right here, we wick down like we did before. And historically, when we do that, you can see we actually got a very massive rally to the upside started. But for now, the other altcoins like Sui, Hype also right now still looking kind of bad. XRP, the same story. We are back in that previous range right here. You can see after taking out all of the liquidity all the way down to $1.28. Basically, the first top right here that we've made. The pump token, absolutely massive drop there as well. As you know, the crypto capitulation because of the uh, Trump news events. Basically, this was what caused the market to dump like this. Also, you can see the stock market is looking pretty bad right now. The how we closed the trading week on Friday, you can see, and basically after the closure, uh, those market makers they waited after the stock market closed, and then half an hour later when the CME futures of Bitcoin closed, and this is when the bigger players like the whales on Wall Street were out when the CME future markets was closed. Basically, this is when they uh, made those capitulation move to the downside to take out the of the liquidity that was sitting in the market, and they did that like 5 minutes after the bigger markets closed, which was of course planned. So this is a manipulative move, as you know, but it was due to happen since equities, Bitcoin, everything was uh, basically overbought, as you know, and this was only due time, but nobody expected the actual liquidations to be so big. But right now, let's talk about what's next for Bitcoin, in my opinion. So, the last time that we have had such a move to the downside, I think the latest was when back in last summer when we dropped down to 49K, then the recovery started. So basically, this would be very interesting. But if we compare this drop downside with the uh, drop that is also as extreme as this one, we can compare it to this exact drop right here back in 2021 December. You can see after such a sharp drop, basically this chart, if we zoom in, you can see exactly right here. This is what I'm talking about. If we go now back to our current chart, you can see right here, this is looking basically the same as it looked in 2021. And why I am saying this right now is because after this drop, we got that liquidation to week to the downside. Then we started to recover. Then we had some consolidation, sideways move, and then we got another massive drop towards the downside. And this is basically where the last bear market, so to say, started. So if history repeats, basically, if this is the beginning of the bear market for us right now, right here, then potentially we are going to be seeing some consolidation and then another potential drop towards this area right here, $93,000. This is an area that I have been calling since we made that top at $123,000. We need to get this Fibonacci retracement basically down to those levels. In my opinion, this is going to be happening sooner than later since it is very, very possible that we see Bitcoin trade below $100 uh, by the end of this year if it plays out like this. And the bullish scenario is that this was just a leverage flush. They flushed out everybody that is long on altcoins, that is long on Bitcoin from those lows right here. And so basically, the rally just continues. This is the bullish case. But with all those trade wars, tariff news that is going on, the wars in the Middle East, I am leaning more to the bearish side for now. But we are going to be seeing what the market will look like once we reach this target right here. Then I would be considering to flip bullish once again, since this would be a very nice retracement to the downside, $33,000. Potentially, we might go even deeper than this. We might retrace all the way down to the 786, basically $85,000. But for right now, I can't see us going lower than this level right here. Basically, what might happen is we might uh, get a drop down to 74,000, like right here, but this would just be a liquidation grab. But uh, let's see how this plays out. As for Ethereum, you can see it did test those levels right here. Basically, 3,300 was a level that I was talking about that we might potentially revisit. And this liquidation week to the downside, we did uh, revisit these levels. But as you can see, uh, basically the last time that this has happened was right here. And then also right here, you can see we have on Ethereum such a big liquidation week. Then we recovered. Then we got that sideways range. Then we got that massive move to the downside. So if this repeats, then we are going to be seeing that move to the downside once again. Solana dropping exactly almost down to, you can see the POC of this bigger macro range basically. So anything below this level would be considered cheap Solana, in my opinion. Sui, I don't know what to say for Sui right now. We might see Sui potentially just range here before the next move, so we might see something like this happening. But for the bigger picture, this is what I'm thinking would happen. We might see the stock market also potentially go down and retest the 200 EMA, which is sitting exactly at the uh, all-time high from February. So we might see this retest happening. That would be almost 10% of a corrective move to the downside, which is completely normal for the stock market, basically for a bigger correction, since the correction that we got from the last year, from this year, excuse me, in April from the tariff news was basically a very deep correction, around 21%. So 10% would be the half of this correction. We might also not see such a deep correction once again, since Trump himself, he does want the stock market to thrive. So, in my opinion, he will not let the stock market correct more than 10% for right now. In my opinion, the dollar almost reached our target right here, but we are having right now a correction to the downside. And as you know, if the dollar continues to push, then we might see Bitcoin show some weakness again. The USDT dominance on the weekly time frame, you can see we do potentially have a reversal pattern happening right here with this bottom forming. So we might start seeing a continuation, which if it happens, we might test this high right here. This is basically the high that we made when Bitcoin hit $74,000. Uh, or was it back in, no, this is the high that Bitcoin, we made that Bitcoin hit $74,000. So basically another push up to this high is very, very possible. And if we get to this high, then potentially Bitcoin might be around this 93 to $85,000 level that I'm talking about. Since if you look at the liquidation heat map, you can see we took basically all the leverage liquidity, and right now price is just uh, range bound during the weekend, so nothing new happening here. Open interest is remaining flat. CVD is down after this flush, you can see. So basically nothing new for right now. We did have on Friday uh, a red day in the ETF inflows, but not from BlackRock. We can see the other institutions sold. BlackRock accumulated once again 74 million of Bitcoin in the spot ETF. The Fear and Greed index, however, it is dropping very sharply. Yesterday we were 35, I think. Yeah, exactly. And right now we are dropping down to 31. So if we get another sharp drop towards the downside for Bitcoin, we might see this extreme fear come into play. And then this is where I would be looking for a very, very nice buy opportunity for Bitcoin at this level. The long versus short ratio for the weekend, we are still having more sellers in the market on the major exchanges, still more shorts on Hyperliquid as well. So the bigger whales are also still short. And something very interesting that we need to pay attention is the Bitcoin funding rates on the major exchanges. You can see they are starting to turn negative, which the last time that this happened was during the April, when basically Q2, I think, or Q1, right here, February. Yeah, this is Q1, the quarterly one, when right here the funding rates have flipped negative. This is where we got this drop towards the downside. So if they remain negative, then it is possible that we get this drop towards the downside again. We do have uh, on Tuesday, Powell will be speaking next week, basically. Also, very important news, the government data you can see is still uh, will not be potentially, we won't get the PPI data, CPI data, since the US government is still shut down. So no volatile news like this one for now. And I think this covers it for today, guys. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe for my channel, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.